week's Ingram Skin Sessions, we discuss skin equality and the race to coming out. And here is a quick recap.
I've always been the same person that I am today. And my parents never even for once sat me down and said, are you gay? Are you bisexual? Are you whatever? I've just been told you are beautiful, smart, you're intelligent, you are confident, you are everything, you are enough. Is something that I've realized that is not always the same with everybody else. And that's the part that saddens me, because I've never, ever had to announce my sexuality.
Now I'm in a space where I create the positivity, you know. Up until today, at least once a week, I'm getting dragged on social media. But I'm honestly just at a place where I'm so happy. Life is very short. I've lost a lot of people in my life. So I can't afford to wake up on any given day and just not be who I want to be with who I want to love. Like, it's not going to be me.
Beautiful, beautiful conversation that we had there. But today we delve deeper into this subject because it's a big one. It's a broad one. We need to work towards a society that values and celebrates all representations equally. Inclusivity and representation, they matter so much. And for a third successive year, transgender women have been eligible to enter the Miss South Africa pageant, which is really a giant leap forward. We love that, right?
It's true. And the representation of diverse women is now being placed at the forefront for young women and young people to feel empowered and comfortable in their own skin. Now, we have a panel of experts joining us this morning who will be unpacking this topic. Let's welcome Miss South Africa CEO Stephanie Wheel and two members of the transgender community, corporate mogul and CrossFit coach Sophia Sibanda, and becoming a reality show star and pageant queen Yaya Mavundla. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It is so good to see such warm, beautiful smiles this morning. Sophia, let's start here. Not only have you managed to navigate corporate South Africa as a trans woman, but you're also a qualified CrossFit coach. You do so much. You obviously are a woman of many talents. Could you please take us through some of the key experiences that you've had on your journey to sort of fully realizing the woman that you are today?
Hello. That's such a good question. I think with both these industries, I think it's important to note that they're vastly different. But when you start looking at the commonalities from my journey, it's been like when you look up at leadership or the people that are making the decision, it's mostly men. And it's mostly older white men at that. And then there's another theme to that, which is just climbing up the corporate ladder is in general just harder for women. And with those two themes, then it's coupled with internally for me, I started questioning my womanhood. And it's not only just an internal questioning of my womanhood, it's also external by the people around me. And ultimately, I think I just had to get to a point where I needed to ask myself, why am I here? What is the intention here? The intention informs the why. And ultimately came down to performance. Performance is how I built my reputation as someone that gets things done well and gets it done first time. And when you look at the CrossFit industry, I mean, one of the things that stands out is strength. Lifting 75 kgs over your head is celebrated within the CrossFit industry. And that's something that I've had to lean on and lean in that has stemmed from my journey as a trans individual. I like to say I'm minority of the minority of the minority. I'm Black, I'm female, and I'm trans. And in that, there's a softness and there's a connectedness that I say that is my superpower, because now that I'm in positions of leadership in both spaces, you're not leading machines, you're leading people. And ultimately, people want to be seen and they want to be heard.
I love that, Sophia. Thank you for sharing. Now, I want to ask Yaya, being the star of the reality show Becoming, as well as your experiences in several pageants, would you mind taking us through your journey?
I think I remember very well when I started with being in participating in pageants and organizing pageants. I wanted to find first something that was going to make me stand out, that was going to make me remembered, by the judges, but also the audience. And I think the first thing that I actually thought of, I needed to be myself. I needed to be authentic, as much as it was difficult for me to just do what I believed was best of me to be. But I knew exactly that the moment I did that was going to work for me. And, even when I would organize pageants, I would tell my judges that, hey, listen, the moment that girl walks in, the one that we are looking for, you would know. And how they would know it, because I knew when a girl that is authentic and is proud of being themselves and representing themselves, would actually show herself. And I think it's the same thing that I did also when I signed up for Becoming. I remember when I got a call from Embassy, I was very, very, very scared of how people were going to receive me at home. But I think I knew the moment that I told my story truthfully, people would actually resonate with it. And funny enough, it's happened exactly like that.
And I think that your story and being able to sort of capture it and tell it in the way that you did was able to take the conversation beyond trans and LGBTI issues, but it became a broader human conversation to have. Stephanie, Miss South Africa CEO, we know that the organization, including transgender women in the pageant over the past 3 years, why do you think that the attention around this has particularly been, heightened this year? And how many trans women have actually entered this year? How are we going to be seeing it unfold as part of the process?
The decision was made a while ago around inclusivity, and for us as organizations, it really is about that. It's really about broadening horizons and really showcasing inclusivity. I think that the highlight around trans women has become more pronounced this year, and I think that's because of a general move in the world as a whole around. There's been so much trans hate, firstly, and intolerance, and I think it's wonderful that it's being highlighted in this positive manner. It's come out at the most beautiful and perfect time to really take this platform and showcase what it's been doing, and really showcase that inclusivity in our country, where there is so much, uncertainty and things. And I think that this platform does give hope, and that's what it was built for, and that's what it does. And I believe that that's kind of where it's sitting. From an entrant perspective, I mean, there's been a lot of trans women enter this year, and it's been wonderful to see. I'm overwhelmed by how many have entered, and it's fantastic. And I guess time will tell as to where everybody lands, but it's very exciting and it's wonderful to see.
And it's beautiful. Now, I have a quick question. What does the inclusion of the transgender community mean to you, and what other spaces or platforms could you, do you think could take a bold step towards inclusion and really dispelling transphobia?
For me personally, I think it just means that we're no longer just tolerated, we are embraced. I think that's first. And our right to exist and be in any and all places is acknowledged, which is great. And I think in terms of other places where we could just make some changes, our school system, that's where it starts. I mean, when you think about it, those are your formative years. And let's take it to a 13-year-old who, number one, as a trans person, your body's changing in ways that go against what you know to be truth. And then you are faced with daily scenarios where, which restroom do I use? When you sit down and write an exam paper, you get to that section where you only have 2 blocks to tick, which is male or female. Your whole existence is made null and void by a piece of paper. So I definitely think our school system is where we can make some impactful change.
Steph, Miss South Africa, is doing such fantastic work in as far as inclusivity and representation is concerned. But let's talk about how, competing internationally then plays out for trans contestants who would then need to be in possession of a South African ID reflecting their gender identity alignment, which becomes important at that level. Why is that?
I think that, obviously those are the international rules. And I think, Yaya and I actually had a conversation about this. And I think that the great thing about the platform with South Africa, it is a platform. And if we can, use our voice in a way that can ensure that whether it be Home Affairs or kind of just the broader government sectors are able to really ensure that the process is hurried along and we are able to kind of move those processes as they need to, that would be wonderful in the first place. We would do everything in our power as the organization and this platform to stand for those rights. It's really very important to us. The LGBTQ community as a whole is very important to us. So for us, that would be something that we would highlight and really drive forward as much as we could as an organization.
That is incredible. Now, I know, Yaya, you've gone through the process of changing your gender marker on your ID. Can you talk us through what that experience was like?
I remember when I first went for the application, and I didn't think, for one, it was going to take this long as it has taken, because, I mean, I applied last year in November, and I was supposed to have received the information or the response in February, but that did not happen. But besides that, I remember filling in the form, you know, the amount of information that was needed there just did not make sense, you know. For one, they needed details of my mother and my father, which unfortunately I didn't have of my mother, which then led me to then say, I'm challenging Home Affairs to say, you need to make it work without even that information being provided, because unfortunately I did not have it. But, you know, for me, wanting even to like proceed and just do it, even though it was difficult, I then wanted to make sure that it's going to inspire other trans people that have that wish, because then when the moment your ID says you are female, you know, then there is so many things that you can navigate, even those that want to enter Miss South Africa. And I'm really, really excited that, you know what, it's actually going to happen this year.
Well, you're able to live and express and exist fully, right? And Sophia, we know that in a world that tries to tell us who to be, what to be, and decides for you that you're male, you're female, and that's that. Being what you're meant to be takes a lot of bravery, and we're hearing that in these stories. What advice do you have for other trans people out there, and where can they go to seek information and guidance?
The first thing I'd say is that your gender identity is valid. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes about it. So stand in your truth on that. And also, everyone's trans journey is different. It is exactly that. It is yours. Not like we're all in different spaces of, are we taking hormones? Are we not doing top surgery or doing bottom surgery? It all depends on what you want. But also with that, there's actually been a lot more focus on the physical and not enough on the work that needs to be done inside. Like, you need to be comfortable with who you are at the end of the day, no matter what level of transition you opt for. And in terms of organizations, I mean, locally we've got Be True to Me org, which is an amazing organization that supports trans, queer, non-binary individuals, as well as the people that are connected to them, like their families. From a CrossFit perspective, there's Out Athletics, which is an organization that actually partners with any fitness facility to raise awareness of challenges being faced by trans athletes.
Well, I think this is a conversation we can have all day long, but I just wanted to say thank you to Sophia, to Stephanie and Yaya for taking time out of your morning to have this conversation with us.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Such a pleasure.
Oh, we love your work. Here's a question for everyone out there at home. What act of bravery are you most proud of in your own life, and what has it helped you overcome? We want you to please reply to the competition post on the Expresso Facebook, Twitter or Instagram pages, including that hashtag Your Skin, You're Brave, and you might get first-hand advice from psychologist Dr. Asha Dulab on Friday morning. And not just that, stand the chance to win that 1,000 Rand voucher with Ingram.
There we go. And this week's competition closes on Friday. Those T's and C's can be found on our website. That's expressoshow.com.
Loving these brave conversations every single week. Now, we're also so excited to announce the incredible news that since the pre-record, we now officially have a trans woman as part of Miss South Africa Top 30.
Unbelievable.
Setting the bar.
But also kudos to the organisers, kudos to the sponsors, kudos for everyone behind that to get behind something that is absolutely vital right now. Very brave, brave people indeed. We love it.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's Moisture Plus, enriched with triple glycerine. For 48-hour intensive moisture. Ingram's, your skin, your brave.